My name is Kat Tan. I am the branch managing director of People of Happiness, and this is Stitch.
What is fashion?
Fashion, I believe, is just a ways of expressing yourself. I think that there's just so many components to it, whether it's like the size or the style or like even like the colors. Very big on like things that like kind of mean to you. So like if I'm trying to feel calm, I want to go with like the like toned down colors, like the pastels. And then if I'm feeling like very like confident, like I'm gonna pop out like that hot pink shirt. So I think it's just like really just like kind of an extension of you.
Can you tell us the story behind your brand?
So People of Happiness actually started with my cousin, who is located in Indonesia, where I'm originally from. And it kind of just started as a brand that was just gonna be like kind of local, going to be, you know, spreading joy to others, kind of like streetwear, but with a twist. So she started that. She said, hey, like check this out. And I said, okay, bet. And I brought it over here. And ever since then, we've just been creating, whether it's like on their end, on my end, or like collaborating with other people. It's just been a way to kind of say that like, no matter where you are, no matter where you're from, you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be comfy, and just really like start yourself, no matter where you are.
Can you tell us about your brand name? What does it mean?
People of Happiness, it really just is what it is. I think like kind of just encompasses everything. I think that the more that we create, the more that everything kind of just resonates with me and my company. Kind of that no matter who you are, no matter your background, where you're from, who you are, what you do, like you can be happy. It's not something that's just reserved for like the hippies of the world. It's not something that's just reserved for like little kids. Like you can express yourself, and you can also have those bad days. So like it's not just being happy all the time, it's recognizing like, okay, I'm not feeling too good today, like it's okay to have feelings, and then kind of going from that and like adjusting and like progressing yourself to be that like person of happiness and to spread that kindness and joy to others around you as well.
What is your logo and how did you create it?
So our logo, we kind of have two going on right now. We have our PO logo, which is the POH. So like this is kind of like our main one that you'll see on our Insta and everything. Really just stands for People of Happiness, and a smiley, of course, because, you know, happy. And then our other one is our mascot, little bouncy, kind of just showing that like you can go through life, like you can have your ups and downs, but like at the end of the day, like our mission is to be able to be like happy, joyful, and like kind of spread that to others around us as well.
What was the world's first impression of your brand?
Funny you asked that after the logo question, because when we first came out, I think there was just a lot of definitely like doubts within like the Asian American community. I had someone say that, oh, People of Happiness, it sounds like the nail techs at the salon, like that's a little odd, like that's like very like broken, like you're not gonna make it. I was like, oh, okay, like, but as we grew, especially like in Indonesia and in the US, finding our market has just like really brought us to like take off, because everyone kind of does want to be happy, even if like you don't realize it, even if you're just like, man, that's a dope shirt, like going deeper into the meaning of it, you're like, oh, like, okay, like I can be like happy and stylish, like, okay, like it's okay to have feelings, like, okay, I can be like into like this stuff, like I can be like into like skating and like all this, but then like also have my like day job and like be perfectly happy with both. So I think just like kind of moving forward, especially within the Tampa community, everyone's been so supportive. I always just like say that I don't think like I would be friends with so many of these individuals had I not started the brand, and to be able to see like the impact it's made on other people's lives, whether it's like the people that we are donating to or the people that I bring up on my team, or even like anyone that like I see on the street and they're like, oh, I like your hat, like totally random, but like to know that that can like, those little things make a difference, I think kind of circles it back to being like a person of happiness.
What type of customer do you see wearing your brand?
I think that honestly, anyone really. I think that especially when I first started, like my big mission was to be like very like holistic and broad. I know that's not very like good on the business aspect. I'm not a business person. So really anyone. So like I really like it when like I have a mom come up to me with like 3 kids and they're like, I love that after hours shirt. Like that's why I love is like a nice glass of wine at the end of the day. Like yes. But then I'll also see like performers be like, oh yeah, like this just like pops off. Like that like color combo, like it goes hard. Like, you know, so I feel like there's not really like an ideal customer. It's more of like the ideal, maybe like persona, being that like someone who just really like kind of supports that message, supports that community, and is ready to kind of take that with them and spread it to those around them.
Can you tell us about the creative process that inspires you?
So the creative process that inspires me, it's really just taking it from, I just touched the mic. Anyways, the creative process that inspires me is really just kind of like taking it from everyone around me. So I think that the 3 of us on my team, which is like my cousins, we all have different strengths. So being able to take like the strength of like my cousin Jane being like super organized, super business oriented, being able to like have her have the logistics, and then me being like, oh, like I really like this, like we should make this, like kind of taking inspiration from like Korean fashion, American fashion, and like kind of like taking those pieces and making our own on top of putting the story behind it. I always like to say it's like sweetware with a twist. So kind of, you know, taking like a simple idea, like a fairy tale, and then twisting it and making our own. So that's something that like a performer would want to wear, someone would want to wear like out to the club kind of thing. Like I think that's what the creative process is just kind of like taking inspiration from everywhere and then making it your own.
Can you elaborate on the designs you brought with you?
Yeah, so first I want to just start off with what I'm wearing. I just kind of have like our newest collection, which was our classic collection. So our like logo, and on the back it's super cool. So, you know, stay tuned for that. And then of course, gotta keep the post socks on. Happiness, colors, love it. And then of course the Air Forces and like the Y2K hair. And the nails, gotta shout out my nail girl, Stephanie, love her. But I think all of our pieces just kind of always all have like a different story, so I'm really excited to share that with you. Our first one is like literally the jacket I came in with because I get freezing easily. And so like you have our logo that's embroidered on here, kind of just reminding you people of happiness. But then on the back you have day and night. Really just a part of our balance collection, kind of just remembering like, you know, balancing day and night. Like you have those days where you like have to be productive in the day. You have those nights where you just want to hang out at home. You have those nights that you want to go out drinking till 5 a.m. Facts. So this is just like our comfiest one, like our first crew neck actually. So I'm very proud of it. I love just like swimming in it. Big fan for the study days too. And then our next one are our angel number pants. Again, so comfy. We have these in white and black. And it has our like balance collection logo, which is like the 2s, which is kind of like my necklace, like very big on angel numbers, and just like incorporating things from different aspects and like different kind of like beliefs. So really just kind of bringing that like, you know, you are in control, like you can put yourself in balance, and then like literally they're so comfy. So like I can wear them to the gym, I can wear them to study, I can wear them in bed, like just so great. So each of our collections does have that like different themes. So we also have our tote over here, which is our Goodwill tote, part of our batch 2 Goodwill collection, where everything was kind of based on like fairy tales. And I think it's like a big part of that. What you see, there's a lot more to it. So you just see a tote and you're like, okay, like you see Goodwill, you're like, oh, that's weird. But like you farther into it, you realize that Goodwill is kind of meaning like being able to go out into the world and really just like practice like random acts of kindness. So like one of my shirts I bring in today was our Come Hang With Us shirt, which is kind of based on like the Ugly Duckling story. But, you know, rather than shooing them off, like you say like, hey, like come hang with us. It's okay if you're different, because like, aren't we all a little weird, a little different? So really just encouraging that, but also it's just bright, fun, and I went to Disney and Donald Duck said hi to me, so you know. But yeah, and then our next one is for our very first restock. It's our cereal breakfast game tee. We had it in orange, we have it in black, and now it's in black. We had it in white and now we have it in black. But I think this is just my favorite shirt because like, imagine sitting in high school and wearing this, like the person in front of you wearing this, like you could just stare at it for the entire period. It's just super fun. Like, again, just simple, you know, like simple with a pop of color. And all of our clothes range from sizes S to XXL. We're trying to be as inclusive as possible. So we really just kind of like, again, try to strive for that, like anyone can be happy, anyone can wear our clothes. So we're always open to collaborating. We're always open to like criticisms and just kind of like furthering that inclusivity within our brand. But we really enjoy just kind of like taking these spins off things and kind of like including like these positive messages that like you wouldn't see at first glance, but the more you look into it, the more you're like, okay. So yeah, that's kind of like one of my favorites. This is like really close to our hearts just because it is from our first collection and it is something that we restocked, meaning that you guys liked it. So I'm really excited to see more restocks in the future as well as new things, you know. Get that there, push that over. And then I already talked about the tote bag, but You Matter hat, I think, is also just really important because we enjoy collaborating with others. So this one's a collaboration with Uba Stigma, which is an organization in Indonesia that helps provide mental health resources to children around like 5 to 11. Just because like mental health isn't really talked about in a lot of places. I feel like that's a big thing, like within my culture at least. And whether it's Asian American or Indonesian. So being able to kind of support and give back to the community is something big. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and it's something that I'm grateful to be able to do with People of Happiness. So, which each purchase, you give those resources to them, and you really just kind of know that it's going to a good place and it's going directly to them. So I'm really excited to kind of see where our collaborations go as well, hoping to kind of expand more. So if anyone else wants to collab, hit me up.
What fabric and materials did you use for these designs?
We definitely like love exploring different materials. I think that's kind of what makes us different, is that we are able to kind of get a hands-on process because we have someone who's directly in the city where everything's manufactured. We use a lot of Prima cotton. I think obviously our tote, we have our canvas tote, but we also have like our Mika tote, which is like great for the beach. We really just kind of just explore materials. So it's like every single shirt's gonna be new. We have our oversized collections, which are thicker material, almost like a sweater. But then we also just have like the regular breathe easy cotton that like literally in Florida and Indonesia is the best thing because you can wear it because it's basically summer all the time. So really love that. But yeah, no, we just love exploring materials and even just experimenting with like different fits or different like apparel. Like I mentioned, the socks, we have the hats, bags, just kind of again like pushing those boundaries of fashion and how you can make it into your kind of like everyday lifestyle as well.
Any trims or accents we should be aware of?
Let's see if we have it on here today. Darn. We don't have any on here today, big sad, but something that we tried with our last collection, our Balanced Life collection, which this one's from, is the trims with on the embroiders, just kind of adding that pop of color, that touch of detail. I think that's a big thing that we like to incorporate. I think even like within our shirts, you can tell that like over on the side here, you have our branch. So like this is the reconnecting collection that we have. Here we have our classic collection. It's in there. But really just those touches and details. And again, like just going more into the story. So cliche, but like not judging a book by its cover, like there's more to the book. And that's kind of what we want to convey with each of our items. When you see it, when you read our story, we like to include the story of each item, whether it's like purchasing in person or purchasing online. Really just kind of backing up that like spreading the happiness and spreading goodwill, spreading joy and kindness. So yeah, I think that in itself is an accent, so do with that what you may.
How would you wear these designs in an outfit?
Okay, well I already said this outfit, so you know, this is kind of like the everyday comfy outfit. I think for me, style is just so like interchangeable that I can be whoever I want, whenever I want. This shirt, I think like I definitely wear it like in a small, with a cute little skirt, some heels, and I'm ready to go around Hyde Park. Just really, you know, fun day with the gals. But then we have this one, and like I said, I kind of wear this all the time. So the crew neck is just so comfy that it's like my go-to. Definitely like a sweatpants kind of thing, you know, so with our joggers. Like ready with like one of our hats, some dunks, and I'm ready to freaking stay in the library from start to closing, you know. And then of course this tote bag, it's like my favorite thing ever. When we designed it, we had like the people in mind, so there's a lot of pockets in it. So whether you're going to school, whether you're going shopping, whether you're just going around town, like it's the bag. And mine sure as heck does not look as clean as that. So that's just kind of like the additional accessory that can be really worn, like especially right now I see like a lot of like both genders and like all genders using tote bags right now. So it's just like the perfect addition, and it's so like, you know, it's handy. Like I can put my phone in there, my sunnies, everything. So I think like probably out of all of our pieces that I have on display right here, that might be my favorite one, only because of how practical it is.
How has starting a brand affected your life?
Wow, wasn't expecting that one. Starting this brand really just affected my life in like beyond any way that I could imagine. I don't think if you told me even 4 years ago, the year before we started this brand, that I would be here today. Like, I don't think I'd believe you. I'd be like, no way, like, I should be in med school right now. Like, I should be getting married right now, like all that, like, no. And I think it really just kind of puts into perspective, like, what your passions are in life and like how you can follow those. So I think that's why I love my cousins and I love the entire team and all the supporters that have like supported me since we started, because it truly does take a village, and without them, I don't think I would have realized like how important our brand can be within the community. So just noticing everyone's like great, like everyone's strengths, I think is really important to me. Knowing that I can work with those like performing full time, but also those who are like doing 3 other side hustles. I think that's kind of like the culture these days, is like, you're not really doing just one job, which like some people might not like, but to me, that's just kind of adding on to like why we live in this world. Those passions, that hustle, the people that you meet, that's definitely probably the biggest part of it. And that's why I kind of like feel like People of Happiness just really like emphasizes me as a person and as a brand, because at all the markets I meet, there's just so many incredible individuals, whether it's artists, whether it's philanthropists, whether it's teachers, like everyone you meet has a different story, and to be able to know just a little bit more of that story is great to me, and it'll share like what makes them happy, what makes me happy, and kind of like there's always that common bond, no matter where you're from, whether you're from Indonesia, whether you speak English, Indonesian, Bahasa, Spanish, like literally anything. I think that's kind of what makes our brand, is the people. So that's really all all that it comes down to.
What change did you have to make personally to see your brand succeed?
Time management, big on that. Was never good at it before, still working on it after. Definitely being a full-time student along with a business owner has its pros and cons. Definitely have had little mishaps with timing and coming late, missing meetings, but we're working on it, right? Because we're all human, all people. So definitely just really getting organized. I think like prioritizing, realizing what is it that I want to do with my life. I think that for me, people of happiness is like at this moment, but I believe that I have more that I need to get done, more that I want to do. And to be able to do that, there are sacrifices you have to make, whether it's like skipping out and going out or having to wake up early so that I can go to the gym and then go to work and then go to a market. Like all those things, it really just kind of makes up. So it's really, you know, being in the moment, but still kind of being conscious about the future is really important to me. I think just taking a step back, that's big about like those who are in my life, kind of reminding me. So just like those changes, I think is the biggest one. I think like no one would have expected me to be this creative, this passionate, but we all know that this is, I would ride or die for Poe. Like this is something that I truly believe in. This is something that I want you to believe in. And so I think that as long as like we all work together, right? Like we're not just, it's not just me, I know that. I think that's like the biggest thing is like having that support system. So that's really just kind of what's getting me through those really weird and different and like unimaginable changes that I have gone through in my life.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like giving up on your brand?
A little. Not really like yes, but I think that with a brand comes a lot of risk. There comes a lot of doubts, a lot of haters. But I think the way that we handle it is really how that's when our true like selves show up, and that's when the brand shows up. So I think that financially there's a lot of things that I wasn't really sure about. Definitely difficult, but just like keep on pushing, keep on calculating. Again, just having that team, having the supporters, having friends who will literally go to markets with me just to come. I think having people like just promote the brand and just things like that, like those are the things that make me not give up. And those are the things that make me like report back to my cousin and say, hey, let's do this collection. Like, I just did this, like we gotta do something else now. I'm coming over, let's have an event, like things like that. I'm hoping that we won't just be 2 branches and that we can expand to more countries, more states, and just spread that happiness.
What was the highest point so far behind your brand?
I think my highest point was probably, I feel like we just keep going up. I don't think there's a highest point yet. There's definitely ups, definitely downs, but we're not at the top yet. We're on a little hill, maybe a little valley, but we're not at the top yet. So I think like there's definitely been highs. The highs include the individuals that we work with and the projects that we get to participate in. My biggest one, I think really, our biggest event has been the Love Thyself fashion show, where I was able to style pieces and include new and upcoming models and performers into my pieces and really like style them with the help of other entrepreneurships and other creatives to really create a piece and like show that resonates with people and can just be bought off the shelf like that. I think in terms of philanthropy and messaging, getting to work with Eli Vasquez, who was a renowned BuzzFeed face, as well as continuously creating films and a big proponent in the Latinx community. I think working with him just really has been so amazing, being able to work with someone who has already established those like steps in the mental health community, and to have him vouch for us and to have him wear our things. Like, to me, that's just like And to be able to say that he's my friend, I think is like the biggest thing for me. Being able to kind of level up within our community and say that mental health is for everyone. Like, even that face that you saw, like that you were laughing at 2 a.m. scrolling on your phone, like, he's a person too, and he has feelings, and he's been through it, and he can overcome it, so can you. And just kind of, again, relaying that message of mental health, of happiness, and spreading joy. Definitely just like has been a high being able to include him into our story like that.
What is your number one problem with the fashion industry and getting your products to customers?
I think the number one problem with the fashion industry is definitely one, inflation. That's just kind of entirely in the world. That's kind of going on right now, which is understandable. Again, not really a business person, so I don't really understand all of it, but I just know that when I see something that's like $30 when it was like 10 a couple years ago, I'm like, ooh. But on that top regards, just fast fashion, I think seeing products that are, cute, very stylish, in trend, being sold online for like $2, $3, and then coming and then being out of trend the next day, like that is very frustrating as a creator, because we take our time to really test our products, test our materials, make sure that everything's good until it gets to the consumer. Again, with our hands-on process, like, we want to make sure that this is going to uphold wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and then seeing someone else kind of doing like something from, those fast fashion websites, it's really difficult to keep up. It's really difficult to get out there when these big name brands with indispensable fabrics, materials, workers, can just get out there like that right now. So I think that's why just taking a step back and just really, again, showing you guys that our story is our main thing. Being able to share the story behind our clothing is really what we want to emphasize. What we want to emphasize is just, that family-owned brand. Again, being hands-on with the process, knowing exactly who our workers are, knowing exactly where our product comes from, and knowing exactly how it's getting from Indonesia in the warehouse to me, to you.
How do you see fast fashion affecting the world?
I'm hoping that we take a step back and go back to slow. Like, I think I see a lot of people with who are thrifting and who are supporting those home brands, but I feel like it's on a corporate level almost that we need to step away. I think it's realizing that the quality is better than the quantity. I think that also just kind of like knowing where it's from, knowing where you're going. I don't know where fast fashion is going to be, but I hope that we can kind of step away from that. I hope that, like, no matter what our budgets are either, I think that, like, if we can just show a little bit more kindness in the world, more support for those creators, for those hard workers, I think that we can just kind of get way far along as a community, as a country, as a people.
If someone was starting a brand, what advice would you give them?
Have a strong team. I've been so blessed to have 2 cousins who work with me and are so supportive and have just these amazing strengths that we can balance off of. Just to have the logistic mind, the creative mind, the public health mind, and then realizing where our weaknesses are. Bringing onto a team a marketing individual, a graphics individual. I think just like having that support and then also taking the criticism is probably the biggest reason why we have gotten as far as we've gotten today. Always adjusting, always learning. I don't think I used Microsoft AI ever. So having to learn how to do that, crazy. Having to learn how to navigate social media, being a grandma on TikTok, like, that stuff is kind of where you have to be to get yourself out there, and taking those steps to learn it is where you're going to be how you're gonna be going forward. Like, no work isn't unnoticed, especially from a business owner's eyes and a creative's eyes.
What is happiness to you?
To me, happiness, I think, is just, I keep saying this, but it's just the people. It's the people that I spend time with. It's the people that I get to see and get to meet. It's the stories that I get to hear. Whether it's not happy or not, I think it's just knowing who you are as a person and how you're getting there, no matter what phase or like chapter you're in. Definitely just happiness is just being around people. I think like food's always also another love language of mine. I'm big on coffee dates, food dates, trying new things, but all in all, like, I always want someone there with me to be able to spend it with. I think, to me, happiness is being with others and needing to learn and kind of like dig into your brain a little bit, kind of get to know who you are, who I am, and where we can go from there.
How do you spread happiness?
Again, the people. I think that the littlest things can make the biggest difference. I know I get so hyped up when someone says, "Oh my gosh, you look so pretty today." I'm like, the whole day, I'm going to my boyfriend saying, "Oh my God, that girl thought I was pretty." Like just little things like that. Smiling to someone, holding a door for someone. Kind of stepping out of your own world a little bit, I think, is how I spread happiness, really. I definitely put others first a lot, which I'm trying to learn to kind of balance it all, because I think that self-happiness and self-wellness is also a big component of it. But really just kind of being kind to others, being understanding, not being judgmental. I think that being able to know someone else, no matter how old they are, what background, just really knowing someone, I think you're always gonna find at least one common bond. Even if it's your favorite color, even if it's where you're from, even if it's where you are at that exact moment. Finding that bond and sharing it is a great way to spread happiness.
Can you speak about being a woman in the fashion industry?
Being a woman in the fashion industry, I think people kind of think that like I should be like high-end couture or like very, like going more towards like those dresses, those skirts. I was in a Panhellenic sorority. Like those things really are almost polar opposites with what I create. So being in certain spaces, I think that I don't feel like I fit in sometimes. But then at the end of the day, it's really like what I think about my brand, what I think about myself, and how much I believe in the brand. So I don't mind putting myself out there, putting myself into those spaces of streetwear, those spaces in hip hop, in pop, and just random places that you probably wouldn't see me in, especially if you knew me from before the brand. I think that just influences me to kind of show that happiness can be for anyone, no matter who you are, and also that anyone can wear this, no matter who you are. So yeah.
Being an Indonesian brand, how does that set you apart?
Being an Indonesian band, I think not many people really know much about Indonesia. It's very, Pacific Islander, Asian. A lot of people really only know Bali, which is a great place, but there's just so much more to it. I think that being able to visit there, even though I was born there, has made me really fortunate to be able to understand kind of like where I come from and the background of everyone and everything. So really knowing, I think the manufacturing process is really important because my uncle is actually very involved in it, and so being able to have those connections and things really allowed us to start the brand. I think that we like to take kind of different cultural influences from everyone, being aware that we are based in Indonesia, but also based in the US. We just have that difference in sometimes like either ideas or styles or communication, and really being able to like define those differences to bring us into one. So whether it's like our social medias, whether you're like into memes or really just into like music, like getting those different aspects that make you happy, getting the different styles. I think for me, like I am a big t-shirt gal, and that's why I have all of our shirts in every different size because sometimes I'm feeling cute, feeling girly. Other times I'm feeling like rolling out of bed, just putting something on and hoping it matches. Like being able to go from all those sides of spectrum, I think is so nice. And I think that's only a part of being people of happiness and being like able to create from start to finish our products. So knowing like the fit's gonna be bigger and knowing that this is something you could probably see in Korea, but you can also see in New York, but you are also for sure gonna see in Tampa. Like all those things really encompassing it all. And just giving back to the community, working with those organizations in Indonesia, working with those manufacturers in Indonesia, hands-on, knowing where it's coming from, knowing what material we're using, and being able to see firsthand, like, okay, they're being treated well. We're making sure that our products are being made well. We're making sure that we're fed, they're fed. Really going against that like hustle and bustle culture, that almost exploitation culture, and bring something that's good from start to finish and beyond.
Where have you received the most support from?
I really think the creative community in Tampa. I feel like I really grew up in that culture where things were really competitive, really like academic focus, career focus, not really like passion focus or creative focus. So really the Tampa creative community, whether I met them once, whether I have only connected with them online, all of them has just been so supportive and aware of the whole process, kind of understanding like where we all start from, where we are going. That support within even other fashion brands, whether it's something similar, whether it's something different, like just the entire Tampa Bay entrepreneur and like creative community just has been the biggest support. Of course, my family, of course, the friends, but just knowing that someone who doesn't even know you, doesn't really care about your background or what you're doing, but only like how you got here and what you're doing, I think that's the craziest thing to me, knowing that when you see me on a market, like you're not worried about what I was doing, how my grades were and all that, but like what I have in front of you and why we do this. I think those have been the greatest supporters, and I just love meeting everyone who's like that.
Any new pieces coming out soon?
Like I mentioned, I have this shirt that I'm wearing, really came out actually like very recently, so check it out on our website. Really our classics collection, because I think that now that we're about 3 years in, we have kind of like started making a name for ourselves. We're starting to get a little bit more recognized, so really just getting like this logo out into the world and just kind of like spreading that like what people of happiness is and what it means. I'm really excited for y'all to see like our different designs, our different colorways. We're bringing the orange back because y'all really like that from the Breakfast Game t-shirt. So yeah, and there's definitely gonna be so many more. We're working on different collaborations, whether it's shows, pop-ups, and for sure shirts. And also, again, you wanna hit us up, we're down.
How do you plan to take your brand to the next level?
I think just keep going where we're going. I know that it's gonna take a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, but just kind of pushing through for what we believe in. My goal is really to just kind of get us out there, and not just our clothes, but also our mission and our brand, really trying to make the world a better place, but like really just kind of like spreading that joy, really spreading that like positivity and understanding of mental health, spreading like slow fashion, supporting other creatives, supporting others in general. I think that really just seeing us get to the next level is just gonna look like us continuing what we're doing, bringing new people to the team, working with creators outside of Tampa, working with manufacturers outside of Indonesia, like things like that, and really just kind of bring our little like 2 branches into multiple.
What do you want people to remember about your brand?
Our story, for sure. What we stand for, how we aim to make mental health more accessible, how we aim to make positivity and happiness more accessible, more understandable, and also more real. I think that's our biggest mission on a deep level, really. Being able to spread like that kindness, that happiness, that love, and then the plus is just really minority-owned brands, breaking those stereotypes, breaking those barriers, getting Indonesia out there, you know, shout out 88 Rising and all of them. But really just like spreading that happiness, I think like it's in our name. I don't think there's more to speak on that.
Period. What can the world expect from your brand going forward?
Breaking the barriers, going off new colors, new shirts, different designs, more collabs that you wouldn't even imagine. We're gonna go international, more international than we already are.
And lastly, where can people find and purchase People of Happiness?
So we have both our social medias. Our US branch is peopleofhappiness.us, and then our main Indonesian branch is people.happiness. And then you can find both of us at www.peopleofhappiness.com. Shop on there, and you can always find us at markets, different events. I'm local to Tampa, so shout out 813. But really, like, just click on the links down there. They're all gonna be there.
That's all right. Awesome.
Bet. Solid.
It wasn't too bad, was it?
No.